Hey there, how's it going? Volta here, and today we shall be taking a closer look at the Lamzu Energon Mousepad. So you may be familiar with the Lamzu Atlantis OG or the Lamzu Atlantis mini series, which I have right here. However, this is the first pad which Lamzu have dropped, so you might want to stick around for this one because similar to their mice, simply put, this is a banger. I will place the specs view somewhere along the screen for you to check out in further detail, but the width comes in at 408 millimeters by a depth of 410 millimeters, and the thickness itself is 4 millimeters. So the surface is nylon slash spandex, and yep, you heard that correctly, I kid you not. There will be a screenshot later on in the video where this is taken from the official Lamzu website, where they are discussing the surface. And the price point comes in at $35 for the US and $39.99 for us European folk. Now we can take a closer look at the surface of the pad. So like I just previously touched on, it is made out of nylon slash spandex, and it is super soft to touch. Silky soft to the touch, which is one of my favorite parts about the mousepad, personally speaking. And strangely enough, you might be wondering why I have my SkyPad arm sleeve on the mousepad. That's because it's kind of similar, I wouldn't say identical, kind of similar to the touch. Obviously the mousepad is harder, but yeah, there is some similarities. It's also very nice to use the arm sleeve in combination with the mousepad because there's so little friction on how smooth the pad is in combination with the stitching. It is just, yeah, a very good combo. And another great thing about this mousepad, I was mainly the Artisan Yen for a long time, which is kind of rough to the touch, and then the SkyPad 3.0, which can get cold or sticky depending on the climate that you're in. So it was kind of refreshing to use a mousepad where it didn't require an arm sleeve. I know some might say they don't use an arm sleeve on the SkyPad or the Yen, which is totally understandable, but I just got kind of accustomed to it. So yeah, it was enjoyable for me to kind of use the pad without an arm sleeve, even though I do prefer to use an arm sleeve in general. Now we can take a closer look at the base of the Lamzu Energon. But I will compare it to the Exerfi GP4, which is the closest similarity which I have in my collection at the moment. So if I flip this over ever so slightly, hopefully the camera will be able to pick this up. They look quite similar. The only difference in feel is that the Lamzu Energon is a little bit softer to the touch, whereas the Exerfi GP4 again looks similar, but is ever so slightly harder to the touch. A bonus is it doesn't slide when I apply any pressure. Now, granted, that could also be due to the surface of my desk from IKEA, which could be performing a little bit of a seal. But a positive, which I have to mention for this price point especially, is the mousepad itself comes flat packaged. So yeah, when I opened up the packaging, there was no issues. It just threw it on the desk and it was flat straight away. And yeah, that's another added bonus. No issues having to roll it out or anything like that. Speaking of the stitching, it is absolutely fantastic. So it might not be quite on the level of Artisan, but it is very, very close. It's not quite under, but yeah, when I was using this in game for quite some time now, the last few weeks, maybe to a month, I've had absolutely no issues with a sleeve, or like I mentioned earlier, with or without a sleeve. Very comfortable to use. Yeah, no issues, superb quality, no fraying whatsoever. So yeah, the stitching is absolutely fantastic. I've been using this mousepad for roughly about a month or so, maybe a little bit more. And yeah, I like to report that the initial and dynamic friction is rather on the low side due to its silky smooth surface. Another thing to report is that the X and Y axis are the same, and there hasn't been any slow spots which have developed, especially in the middle of the mouse during my testing, which is another great thing to see. So yeah, the pad is rather on the faster side of things, nowhere near as fast as my SkyPad 3.0, but for a cloud pad, it is rather on the faster side. I haven't had any issues with the little logo here down on the bottom right. My mouse never makes it that far anyway, but if I am to hover over, yeah, there's no real issues there. The stopping power can vary on the mouse gates which you use. For example, they might differ from the Lamzu Atlantis Mini with the 4-corner skates, comparing it to the Pulsar X2 Mini. Again, depending on the skates which you use. For example, I like to buy Tiger Arcs for almost every mouse that I use, the PTFE skates. But yeah, I think Lamzu have achieved something great here. For the speed that it offers and the control that it offers, I think the way that they achieved this was down to the nylon spandex hybrid, which they advertise on their website. And yeah, I think they've achieved it. Fast pad offers a good amount of stopping power. It's soft, so if you like to press down at the end of your motions, that can also help with the stopping power. So yeah, great pad. Some improvements which I would like to kind of touch on upon very briefly. One of them would be the smell, and oh boy, did this pad stink when I first received it. So yeah, when I opened up the pad, I had a super strong smell. I ended up having to leave it out in the hallway for like 2 or 3 days before I was able to actually use it because it actually smelled so bad. I'm not sure if this was my copy in particular, but if I use the screenshot from earlier, there's actually a warning on their website that, yeah, this is something to be wary of, that it may smell very strongly, which in my case it did. So I don't know if it's possible in future iterations or if there's a pro version that might be coming out, if that is something that they could look into. But yeah, my pad was incredibly smelly. Now I can report it's pretty much normal now. So all good on that front. Another improvements might be the dimensions. I do prefer pads which are kind of slightly bigger. So maybe 490 by 410, or even my preferred dimension of 500 by 500. That would have been great, but yeah, I'm not going to go on too much about that one because that's more of a personal preference. Other people might not have any issues with the current dimensions. So to wrap things up, or in conclusion, when I've taken everything which I've discovered into consideration, yeah, this mouse pad is an excellent pad. Very consistent, very comfortable to use. I perform well with it in game. I also used it while I was working for my 9-to-5 job. So yeah, pretty much all day working, and then whenever I was playing in the evening, yeah, great pad, great performance. Coming in at a competitive price point of $35 in the US and 39.99 euros in for us EU folk. Yeah, it's a truly awesome pad. If you made it this far in the video, you're an absolute legend. If you like the content, feel free to leave a thumbs up, drop a subscription. Any comments or feedback would also greatly be appreciated. And yeah, what more can I say? Catch you in the next one. Peace out.